Tango, Tango, Tango. 54 is the mic. And 80. That's right.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go. Thursday night football, boys. And it is a very special Thursday night because the DadBodd podcast episode number 101 is absolutely live and in color. I am Guns Picks, one of the hosts. And to my right, if you are watching this on YouTube or Twitter, you have the man, the myth, the legend, the season ticket holder of the New York Football Jets. A very good and a New York Football Jets team. Lock bets. What's going on, my friend?
Guns. I'm doing fucking fantastic. I witnessed the I would call it a beatdown, but it was just a typical win for most teams. The Jets, they're stingy, man. They are stingy. Okay. They will collapse on you on defense. They mask a lot of coverages. Now, granted, I don't know if Josh Allen was hurt during that final drive or not, or what the case was, but MetLife Stadium was pretty sick. There was a lot of Bills fans, but all in all, good week so far. It's about to get better though. It's Thursday night football, baby.
Yeah, we have the Thursday night football slate. A great matchup. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's just another plain old Thursday night football game, but we have the Atlanta Falcons playing divisional rivals, the Carolina Panthers, in Carolina, where the weather is piss poor, as so I'm told by the news and all the hurricane information. And it is the second time these two teams have met in the last 2 weeks. So take that into account when looking at this game. Lock bets, I'll pass to you first. What are your thoughts on this Thursday night football matchup?
I think it's funny, right? I mean, Amazon paid all this money and they're getting a few stinkers. Now, the Falcons though this year, you gotta tip your hat to that team. I mean, they've been in some tight games. They've had their number 2 in their division, right? They're right behind the Buccaneers. I think Marcus Mariota is really putting a case for himself that maybe he's not the draft bust that we thought. And then you have the Carolina Panthers coming into this game that lack an identity. They don't have an identity. It's almost like we're watching the Montreal Expos before they became the Washington Nationals. Granted, the Panthers aren't going anywhere that I know of, but they've been through a handful of starting quarterbacks. They lost Christian McCaffrey. They traded Robbie Anderson. Matt Rule's gone. I mean, what's the deal with this Panther squad? I know the Sharps or the wise guy money absolutely hammered this line back down to 2.5 just to make life hard for everybody. What do you think it does? What is this Panther squad and what's their identity?
I don't know if they have an identity whatsoever. They have controversy in the quarterback situation with PJ Walker and Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's proven to be not the greatest acquisition up to this point. They don't trust him with the ball, so they pass it to PJ Walker. They get rid of their best sole source of offense, send him packing to the 49ers and Christian McCaffrey. You're right. This team is in a complete reset mode altogether. But however, you have to understand these are professional athletes. It's the next man up mentality. When these two teams played each other last time, it went to overtime. Atlanta ended up prevailing in that game, 37-34. But Carolina did win the net yards plus 72. I just think my perspective of this game, and just from a full game look, I'm not going to be risking heavy units on this one, but if I had to take a side, which I will make, I guess I'll make it official, 1 unit play. I did find a Carolina +3 out there at -120, and I did take that for a 1 unit play. I know Carolina's lost 5 out of the last 6, coming off back-to-back road games. They're heading home. They're playing a divisional rival in a revenge spot. And they were 4.5-point dogs, I believe, in Atlanta. They're sitting here at +3. So to me, I think the line screams Carolina. So that's the direction I'm going to be going. Carolina plus 3-1 unit.
Well, you know what? If we weren't a bunch of shitheads already, I am on the I'm on the Falcons first half. All right.
Yep.
This is going to be a typical kind of a fuckery game towards the end. The Falcons lack an identity towards the end of games. They either don't know how to close out, or they're all of a sudden these road all-stars. With that being said, I do love your take on the Panthers. I think it's a good take. But I just can't get behind this team, and I won't allow a Vegas. The popular bet right now is the Panthers. The public's on it. The sharps are on it. Let me just go into halftime with my win, put it in my pocket. All right, it's a typical lock bets fashion here, and also something to think about right now. The offensive proficiency for the Falcons heavily relies on their run game. I mean, they love pounding the rock. They got it's like a three-headed monster. And Cordero Patterson is his second game in after his injury. He's like the scat back. He does everything. He catches the ball. He runs the ball well. And in a sloppy environment tonight, I like going to him early, often. And which preludes me to my, my prop pick. I think over 70 yards for receiving yards and rushing yards for Cordero is more than attainable. Last week, he had 5 rushes. I think that was due to mostly him coming off the injury. And he had 71 yards rushing with 5 of them. I think he had 45 yards catching. So he had 110 yards and he got limited snaps. So I think tonight you're going to rely on the veteran. You're going to rely on him early. Give me the first half. Give me Cordero over 70.5. And then, hey, I'll put my pom-poms out. All right. I'll be rooing for, the Panthers or whatever bets that we're cooking,
I think it's also an interesting point. You just look at the full game of Atlanta. They started 6-0 against the spread to start the season. They were going into the unparalleled 7 straight covers against the spread. Couldn't do it. And they've actually lost the spread in the last 3 games. So I just think the regression is going to continue full game. Let's see what happens in the first half. We're going to get into picks. This is basically going to be, we're going to run up and down the board, but we want to give you your picks first. So you guys can feast on those, grab those lines a little bit early. But first, a word from our sponsor.
This podcast is sponsored by Viva Tequila Seltzers.
That's right. This podcast is sponsored by Viva Tequila Seltzers. Viva Tequila Seltzers is a refreshing and drinkable hard seltzer, 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations, as it was created for the active lifestyles in mind. Viva flavors their tequila seltzers because flavor is the spice of life, and they like their drinks with a little bit of a kick, just like we like to live our lives. Viva flavors perfectly with their artisanal Blanco tequila for a subtle and refreshing drink. Their belief is to live long, live well, and live it up. Hashtag Viva Up. And check them out on Twitter at Viva Seltzer.
Where's your Viva guns? Are we not Viva?
Deleted. I deleted them all.
You dog.
Those things, they're very delicious. They're very addicting. And when you're watching football, it's really hard not to grab more than one. So
I know.
Yeah, waiting for the next ones to come in. And of course, I gotta go to US Postal and send them over to you guys too. Sweet. Hey, let's go and do a couple picks for you boys. I got a college pick. I think Lockbets probably has a pick as well. Other than Thursday night, we'll probably be talking a little bit of the weekend. I know mine is on Saturday, so let's get into the DadBodd's Capper Breakdown.
It is time for the DadBodd's Capper Breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
DadBodd's Capper Breakdown brought to you by the good people of Viva Tequila Seltzers. I'll start with you, Lock Bets. What's your pick?
This weekend, we go to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Okay? We're going to a team that just lost to the Lions. This team is battered. They are injured. They are absolutely cooked. I'm done with the Packers, and I'm buying the Dallas Cowboys on the road -4.5. Okay. This is a no-brainer. When was the last time Aaron Rodgers was a home dog? All right. They're daring you to take Aaron Rodgers, but not so fast. Dallas Cowboys defense is legit, and they're blitzing at a rate that is unheard of in the NFL. They're at the top of the league in blitzes. Aaron Rodgers is not going to know who to throw the ball to. He's going to be seeing Sam Darnold ghosts out there. I love the Cowboys. I believe they're coming off a bye. I think this is just and if you look at the NFC East right now, the Cowboys, they can't slow down. They're going to have to keep getting the mojo back with Dak Prescott to stay in the division. So I love this matchup. I think the Packers are out. I'm selling the Packers. I'm buying the Cowgirls on the road -4.5. And we're going to call it a day. I think 1 unit, we could upgrade it to 2 units, but that's what I'm cooking right now. More to come, obviously. In addition, as I said, I'm on the Falcons first half -1. We're on Cordarrelle Patterson over 70.5 receiving and rushing yards. And I may sneak in one more prop later, but I think that's good for now. It's a nice little slate. Guns, what are you cooking? What are you going to be cashing? I mean, come on, tell the world what they all came here to hear.
Well, I'm taking you to Huntington, West Virginia, John C. Edwards Stadium, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, Saturday, only on ESPN Plus. And I'm talking about App State versus Marshall. And I'm going to be taking Marshall money line -102. Let's talk about this game right here. Let's talk about this App State team. They are on the second leg back-to-back road trip after losing to Coastal Carolina 35-28. Losing the net yards, absolutely dominated, -109 net yards in the game. Now you have Marshall, they're coming off a good road win. They shut out ODU 12-0. While their scoring was minimal, they absolutely dominated the yardage battle with a +78 net yards. App State, home team, not a road team, -5 point differential on the road. And they put up 115 yards less offense on the road than they do at home. So their offense is not as good when they're outside of Boone. So you got Marshall, tough. They're so tough at home. They have a +13 point differential at home, and they hold their opponents to 217 yards per game with a +213 net yard average at home. Absolutely dominating numbers there. App State run first offense, 5.1 yards per carry. But on the road, they're a little bit different. They're a little lackluster, 3.1 yards per carry when they play on the road. Marshall is great at stopping the run. They give up 2.6 yards per carry to their opponents, 79 yards per game on the ground. Only 3 teams this season have gone over 100 yards versus Marshall. Now, if you want to get into some trends, App State 1-6 against the spread versus conference opponents, 3-9 against the spread in their last 12 games. So when they play their conference opponent, they typically do not cover. So this is basically all predicated on Marshall's defensive strength, which is going to be the key to the success in this game specifically. They play in perfectly to what App State does best. And App State just doesn't perform on the road. So I don't think they're going to here either. I think Marshall's going to really stomp them. Really more predicated on just if they can hold that offense, everything else will fall into place. And I'm loving it. Just picking a winner. Give me Marshall money line -102, 2 unit special as the DadBodd's Capper Breakdown.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking
Let's
go.
fucking go. All right. So going into the NFL slate, getting past this crappy Thursday game that we don't like. But we're gonna make a play nonetheless. Sunday, November 13th, 2022, an opportunity to dominate, as Sharky would say. Let's start with the Germany game. They're playing in Munich. It is the Seattle Seahawks versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Do you have any thoughts on this game?
You know,
Not good.
oh, sorry. No, what were you going to say? Not what?
I was just going to say this game is at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is typical London style timing for this game.
I tell you what, they're going to be interfering with your NFL countdown show, no?
The game will be going on when that show is on at 10 a.m. Yes.
Yes. So, gosh, just looking at the line movement a bit. I mean, it's been staying. Hey, what's up, Razor Sharp? How you doing, brother?
Razor's in the building. What's going on?
What's so okay? Anyways, I guess it started at 9.5 about 9 days ago, 10 days ago. That would have been a nice line to get, huh? Yeah, for the Seahawks. I mean, this is going to be a pretty neutral. Obviously, it's a neutral field. In terms of which team to wager on, I hate to go back to the well. I hate to do it, but if I'm going to be betting on across the world quarterback and across the world offense, I probably would tend to stay with Brady here. I think he's hit a stride with, a win under his belt last weekend. But then again, I mean, the Seahawks, you cannot count out. So you know what? I am going to give this one to you, and I'm going to stay the fuck away from this game.
I'm in the same spot as you. I was trying to find an angle to take the Bucks because I think having that nice little 2-minute drill drive down the field, carrying the team over against the defending Super Bowl champions. I thought that was maybe a little bit of a spark that they could carry over in this Munich game. Seattle to me is just, I mean, I still haven't figured them out overall. I mean, it seems like the offense is cooking. The defense is actually improving week to week. If you actually seen their last two games, they held the Giants to 225 yards. They held Arizona to 262. So, and then if you saw them beginning there, they were giving up 400, 500 yards to their opponents. But now they're starting to kind of get better as they go along. This is a tough one for me. I think if there's any take, I'll probably look for an angle on the under. But there's nothing official about this one because it is a neutral site. They are flying across the world to go play this game. It's very degenerative, in my opinion, to bet the 9:30 a.m. game. Nothing. I don't think it's anything I want to sweat before a show, if for that matter, because I'm going to be doing other things. I'll be looking for other angles on the card. So probably this one, being a neutral site game, I'm going to pass on this one completely. I lean under, but nothing I want to. It's not London, so I know how teams play.
Yeah, it's not even London.
I don't know. Right. Not even London. And it's Munich. No NFL team's been in Munich that I know of. So
I mean, are they playing? It's obviously outdoors. It's not a deal on domes. I don't. You know what? Enough. We're not even talking about it. Yeah, I may not even be asleep by 9:30 in the morning. So I'm not going to be sweating a 9:30 in the morning.
No, it's complete pass on this one. Yeah. So let's go to the next game. Let's go to a different game. So different scenario for at least one of these teams. So you have the Minnesota Vikings going against the Buffalo Bills. It was announced either today or yesterday that Josh Allen, I don't think he's going to be playing in this game, concussion protocol. So it's going to be, who's the backup for that team?
It's Case Keenum, who has played every fucking team.
So you have a veteran quarterback taking over the reins there. That's an interesting spot against a Vikings team playing out of their minds right now. 8-1 straight up, I think, this season. Any thoughts on this one? They are playing in Buffalo, and it's the second or third leg of a road trip for the Vikings, I believe. So, any thoughts on this game?
So first, before we do that, I will say I had a lot of bad not a lot. I mean, I had a few bad future bets. One of them was the Saints. I thought the Saints were going to be a lot better than they were. And you know what?
You haven't. You're so distraught. You have not left.
I've not left. I've not left.
Or Mercedes Dome or whatever they call
Yes. But the one bet that I was really confident in was the Vikings winning their division. I mean, I thought that was like a mammer jammer lock. And I believe it was plus 600 that we took them at. It's sitting in my account and I'm like, I'm ready to cash that. Obviously, we have a lot of time left. So, hold the front door. But Kirk Cousins seems to have his swagger back. I mean, who is this guy? He's on the plane with the chains. He's the camaraderie on that locker room. It seems like it's second to none. All right. And on their away trips, they add another chain to his swag. Every win that they have on the road, they've been, hyping up their quarterback. Dalvin Cook's healthy. You have Jefferson's healthy. Cousins is healthy. If you told me I could get the Vikings plus 3.5 versus a backup quarterback, I would probably on the surface love it.
Right.
But it's, it seems like a bit of a trap, doesn't it? I mean,
it does. It does.
3.5 at home with your backup still. I'm probably going to take the Bills here. I think the Bills, they're a well-oiled machine already. I think Josh Allen probably hurt them last week when he was playing a bit injured. And I think the Bills bounce back. Well-oiled machine, good defense, just plug and play Case Keenum. Maybe the line goes back down to 3, but if it's staying sturdy at 3.5, that's a strong line. You probably want to hop on that line. Okay. You don't want to hop on the bandwagon of the Vikings. But I will say, Vikings, you guys are doing your job so far for my future bet. What are you thinking?
I'm on the same boat that you are. I don't care who the quarterback is. You could tell me tomorrow that Lockbets is going to be the quarterback, and I would still probably take the 3.5 with the Bills. Case Keenum, like you said, quarterback, and I trust him completely. I think he's a serviceable quarterback, and he should be able to operate that offense efficiently down the field. Vikings to me are a home team, not a road team. -1 point differential on the road. 286 yards of total offense on average, and they've played Washington, Miami, New Orleans neutral site, and Philadelphia. Those are the 4 road games that they've had. Last week, probably should have lost to Washington, but circumstances as they may, Heineke throws a bad pick, puts it back into their hands. That's kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes in these spots. But you see the line here, and it tells a story. You have Buffalo sitting at -3.5. They're still favored besides losing Josh Allen. They're coming off a loss versus a divisional opponent. Now they get to come back home, a place that they typically excel. And you have a Vikings team that has a -101 net yard average on the road. I just think eventually your luck's going to run out for the Minnesota Vikings, especially on the road. I trust them more as a home team than a road team. I think the -3.5 is a telltale right there. So yeah, if there's a play on this one, and it'll probably be a play for me on Sunday as I'm talking it out. Buffalo -3.5 makes sense.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I mean that I actually talked myself into it. Just the more that you hear about backup quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins having their swag back, you stop right there. Let's just go with the backup quarterback, plug and play all day. What's next on the docket?
All right, so we're going into Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, where we have a divisional matchup between the Detroit Lions versus the Chicago Bears. Chicago looking like -3. I haven't seen any line movement on that one. I'll have to go check that one.
Maybe a little 2.5. It's like teetering, isn't it?
Yeah, I see -3 still at a couple books. So if you like the Detroit Lions, you better grab it because I think it'll probably dip possibly. What are your thoughts on this game? Seems like Chicago's heating up a little bit, even though they basically gave away their entire defense.
Yeah. I don't love. Like I said before, I think the Lions winning last week was more of a testament to the Packers being a fucking mess. So it's hard for me to think like, Detroit's going to roll into Chi-Town and show them who's boss. It is a historic rivalry per se. If you ask the Lions, I think in this spot with Chicago, I got nothing here, man. What do you got?
All right. So I just look at this as looking at the splits. So at home, Chicago has a +1 point differential, +19 net yard average. So which is way different, a whole different dynamic if they're playing on the road. Now, if you look at Detroit, Detroit's a home team. They're +1 point differential at home. They score a ton of points. Taking Detroit in overs when they're playing in Detroit, I would say I would recommend that at weeks every time Detroit plays at home. When they play on the road, it's a whole different story. They're just not the same team. -17 point differential on the road. -9 net yard average, though, which is kind of weird considering the spread on the number. You have a Chicago team that I just think they're just hungry for a win. You have Detroit coming off what they consider a nice win over the Green Bay Packers. But I just, this spot to me, especially with how the Chicago is running the football right now. I mean, the quarterbacks, Justin Fields is absolutely just, he can't pass, but man, can he move his feet and he can get yards, like a star running back. He's absolutely incredible. Scrambling with the football. The Lions give up 5 yards per carry, which is not bode well when you're facing a huge rushing team with Chicago. I would think that the lean on this one, unofficial, I would probably lean Chicago.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just not enough confidence for me to like put money on it or tell you what to do with that. I think that's another throw that in the Germany game. What else we got?
Yeah, here's another great. I mean, these matchups unbelievable. I'm gonna skip around here. Let's talk the Browns versus the Miami Dolphins. Browns traveling to Miami, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Florida. It should be electric. What are your thoughts on this AFC matchup?
Well. I think the Dolphins are finally not going to sneak away with a win. I mean, the Browns right now, 10th in the league red zone efficiency, 4th in the league first downs, rushing yards is 3rd. And you look at the defense for the Dolphins, nothing to write home about. 31st in turnovers caused. I don't think Miami's going to impose any will on the Browns. So I think the Browns are it's a sneaky play for me, but I think the Browns with their two-headed monster, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, I see Brissett kind of dissecting that defense and Browns defense doing just enough to sneak away with the +3.5. Probably would lean the over here. Probably a high-scoring affair, but if we're talking offense versus defense efficiency, I think the Browns have the edge here. So I'll take the +3.5, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down pretty close towards the end.
I mean, I think I'm with you. I like the Browns on this one too. I mean, I think you have the Dolphins that have to face back-to-back rushing teams. You know, they had to go to Chicago on the road in a run heavy style offense with Chicago. And they played real close in the last 3 games. They've won 3 straight since getting to a back. But they've all been within a touchdown or less. Really, and then you look at Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Chicago, and they played basically to their level. Narrowly covering in Detroit, didn't cover last week. Now they go back home where it's supposed to be their comfort zone. But they only have a +3 a point differential at home too. So they're playing to the level of their competition. With the Browns, they're coming off a big win to Cincinnati, divisional rival, and they're coming off a bye week as well. So they're a little bit more healthy, more rested, and more prepared to play this Miami team. The rushing attack is going to be key to this one. You have Miami that gives up 4.6 yards per carry to their opponents. They gave up 6.3 yards per carry to Chicago last week. So I think I think Cleveland's going to pound the ball here. I think they're going to try to gas out the defense, control the clock. Maybe a lean to the under while I'm talking this out. Total's 49, maybe not. That kind of leans toward the over a little bit to me. I'm going to pass on that one. But, however, I will lean taking the Browns, maybe an official play on Sunday. I like the spot here. Browns.
I like that you went to that game because I did have that circled, and I like that we talked that one out, and we're kind of thinking the same mojo there.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, let's go. Let's skip down the board here. Let's find. I'm not going to talk about Texans and Giants because that's terrible. Let's go to. I guess we already talked about Green Bay and the Cowboys. Let's go to NFC West rival, 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're going to be playing in LA. The Rams just coming off a dramatic loss the last seconds to Tom Brady. Now they're coming back home, a team that's struggling, but they're playing a Cardinals team that is struggling as well. The NFC West, are they the new NFC East? We don't know, but I'll pass it to you first. Any thoughts on the Cardinals and the Rams?
Well, I did see the headline today. Matt Stafford is questionable to be playing Sunday. Not that really says much because he's been pretty damn inefficient. But this is another tricky one. I mean, if we're looking at, the Rams defense is pretty darn good, right? Kyler Murray has lost 2 in a row. The Rams have lost 2 in a row.
That's correct.
I probably am going to just take that short line at home. Probably just take the Rams, but this is going to be a no play for me, especially with Stafford out. I don't like betting money on the Rams particularly. Usually I would lean Cardinals, but there's a lot of messy situation in this game. So I'm going to pass the mic to Gunzy here.
Well, this is the second leg, and I want to give a shout out to Fallish Hound in the building saying hello. What's going on? She is a wonderful lady. Respect all around. But let's talk about this game for a second. So this is the second meeting of these two teams. They met in week 3. The Rams actually beat them 20-12 on the road. But the Cardinals were plus 26 net yards for that game. You have the LA Rams have lost 4 out of their last 5 games. Lost a tough one to Tampa, 2 struggling teams. When you just look at these stats, like you look at the divisional split, you look at home versus away. If anything, they play identical to each other as far as when they play a divisional opponent.
Right.
I mean, minus 9 point differential for the Cardinals, minus 8 point differential for the Rams. and they play and the Rams play terrible at home, -6 point differential for the Rams, and they play to the level of their competition as far as the net yards are. So to me, I don't see, there's no angle that I see here other than the revenge factor that the Cardinals may have in the situation. I'm checking the trends in some of the meetings here. I mean, the Rams have dominated the series overall. I mean, they've covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11-1, 12-1 against the spread versus the Cardinals. I mean, if there's any angle there, that's probably
What is
the
it?
trend.
12-1?
Yeah, I'm dating back to 2016. It's 12-1 against the spread because I believe they did cover the against the Cardinals in week 3. So if that's the angle that you can take, that would be it. But however, you have the Stafford situation. Is he playing? Is he not playing? I mean,
I think
he's
he's in a
playing hurt all
concussion
season.
protocol.
Oh, so he's in the concussion protocol too.
Yeah. And it looks like John
goodness.
Wolford is the backup.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, talking this out, I mean, you can throw the trends right out the window at this point. This is just a game that is so gross and so disgusting.
Maybe a little under action, under 40.5.
Yeah, I mean, it is 40.5. It's probably going to dip further by Sunday. That could be the angle that you take with it. But who knows with these two teams?
Throw this game in with the fucking Germany game. There's a nice little mosh pit of games.
We just have a game rubbish piling up of games that we don't want anything to do with. No. Yeah, you can skip that one, you degenerates. We don't need to bet these dumb games.
It's not Thursday night. We only do degenerate dumb bets on Thursday night. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, I see Dabby Cab in the building. What's up, my friend? Welcome.
Dude, Dabby Cab was in Vegas, wasn't he?
He's out of Texas, I believe, but he might. I don't know. You might be traveling around.
No,
he's a mover and a shaker, right?
Him and your boy were in Vegas. What's his name?
Dutch.
Yeah, Dutch and him were in Vegas.
Oh, all right.
It was like a pump up vid. They were going the Mile High Club. It looked like they were having a fucking time.
Well, they have a video that they play all the time too. So it's like a hype video. Okay. So that might be from that. But let's go into Sunday night. So Sunday night you have the I always want to say San Diego, and I keep catching myself. The Los Angeles Chargers going on the road, traveling to the 49ers, Santa Clara, California, Levi Stadium for a Sunday night special. What are your thoughts on this game?
You know what? I need you to take the reins here. I just got a text saying I didn't pick my my Survivor League matchup, or not Survivor League. I do like pick like 10 games a week, and it's due Thursday night, the same time every fucking week, and I forget.
Wow.
So I just gotta send him my pick for tonight.
All right, I'll talk this one out. I'll filibuster in this one. So looking at the matchup here, you have the 49ers coming off a bye. Before that, they beat the LA Rams, beat the crap out of them, a team they just absolutely own, 31-14, plus 145 net yards for that game. So they're well rested, well prepared for this one. On the other side, you have the Los Angeles Chargers at Atlanta. They beat them 20-17, dramatic fashion too. Late field goal to end the game. They get the victory, plus 21 net yards for the game. And I think they did push on that one for the spread because it was at -2.5, -3, depending on what line you got it at. So, what is the Chargers have to do? We'll have to look at the injury report. I haven't checked the injury report on this one. I knew they were missing Mike Williams. He's probably still out. But
Keenan Allen's still out.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. I don't know if he's ever going to come back. That hamstring just keeps lingering week to week, and he sits on my bench in fantasy, and it disgusts me. So I guess you have the Rams here on the second half of a road trip off a high win. You have the 49ers coming off a bye week. To me, sitting here now on Wednesday, unofficially, looking at the line is -7 for the 49ers. Over and under is 45.5. I'm probably leaning 49ers on this one. I just think that all you really have to do against the Rams is run the ball effectively,
You mean the
efficiently.
Chargers? The Chargers.
I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. It's the Chargers. Keep saying that. All right. Yeah, when you run against the 49ers, all they have to do is basically just give the ball to C-Mac, let him do his thing. Maybe even take a prop on the rushing yards versus the Chargers. I think that's probably a good prop bet. Don't know what the number is on this one, but I think they'll go over efficiently on this one. But yeah, my lean is the 49ers -7. Any thoughts?
I don't think I've ever seen quite as strong of a line for a home team on was this Sunday Night Football.
Right.
California, back city rivals. I mean, once again, Vegas wants you to take Justin Herbert +7. That's a fucking strong line, though. I'm sorry. Primetime football -7. Like, who do they think the 49ers are? But with that being said, I'll probably pay to play. I'll pay to play to see this one. And I'm probably going to be a little bitch boy and take the first half. I'm going to take the first half -4 Niners and just run to the hills because +7 seems awfully bizarre to me, at least. I mean, I would think 5, 6, 6.5, but 7. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong here. I mean, like you said, Chargers defense is just as good as a piece of Swiss cheese. But, I mean, the 49ers did have injury concerns going into their bye week. Like you said, are they fully healed up? I mean, Vegas is certainly trying to tell you that.
I was interesting because I was just looking at the first half road splits for the LA Chargers here. So Kansas City, they were up 10-7. Houston, they were up 27-7. Cleveland, they were up 21-17.
Holy cow.
Atlanta, they were up 14-10. So if anything,
The Chargers.
it tells you that the Chargers first half is probably the better play because they see. But it's weird because you see like them completely regress in the second half in all of these type of situations. So it's like the Houston one, they were up 27-7, absolutely ready to blow them out, and they only won 34-24. Cleveland 21-17 at halftime, they won by 2. You have what was the other one? Atlanta 14-10, kind of ended up around that number 20-17. So yeah, if there's any lean on this one, I'm just talking everything out. I know I said the 49ers -7. Maybe I like that for the full game, but if I want to take another angle to it, maybe it's good to take the Chargers first half.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe your angle is a little bit better as we're talking this out.
I
said,
yeah.
Still trying to cap the Sunday card, but I wanted to at least talk out a couple plays with everybody. And then you have the Monday Night Football game. The Washington Commanders versus the Eagles. Eagles sitting -11. Disappointment all around for the Commanders after, basically dominating against the Vikings. Now they have to go and they got to play, I guess, the perennial favorite to win the Super Bowl at this point, or at least the NFC. Philadelphia, Eagles, Eagles. Any thoughts on this one?
I mean, +11. I'm taking that all day. In division, I know people will tell you it's a strong line that would tell you that the Eagles are probably a good bet. But come on now, I will not. I live in Philadelphia now, and I understand you guys have a good team, but I think that's kind of ludicrous. I do think the Commanders are playing a pretty good brand of football. Defensively wise, I didn't really check in last week, but their defense is playing pretty strong. I thought, Guns. Is that accurate, or is that just a lie that I just made up?
They're playing better, I would say. I think most of their losses lately, for at least from the Commanders' standpoint,
I mean, they gave up 20. They gave up 17 to the Colts. They give up 23 Packers. They only gave up 12 to the Bears. They gave up 21 to Tennessee. So they're
Well,
probably
you look at the other
averaging-
direction. You're looking at the other direction. Actually, Chicago, they gave up 7.
Oh yeah,
21,
right.
21 to the Green Bay and 16 to
Yeah.
Indy. And really the 20 is all predicated on bad turnovers
Right,
to get
right.
them back into that game. So
if you're telling me that,
so they are playing better.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to tell me that like the Eagles score 24, which is possible, I could easily see, a 24-17 game. I don't know. I'm leaning Commanders, but this is another game that I'm going to throw into Munich. I don't really, on Monday night I will have a degenerate play for it, but plus 11 in division. I can't really get behind. I can't get behind minus 11. I think that would just be a little bit crazy on my end at least. But Guns, you have a strong take here.
I think I do.
Okay.
As I'm just looking at these numbers, we talked about how the defense has improved for Washington, and you know how good the Eagles have been playing right now, absolutely dominating their opponents on all ends. They are coming off a big, I wouldn't call it a big win, but they did win against Houston. Didn't cover the spread, but they still got the win. They're coming back home, a place where they have a plus 14 point differential. Versus their division, they are plus 12 point differential. And if you look at the other side, Washington, not so great. They have a minus 16 point differential. The side isn't really anything I'm looking at, but I've seen the total at 44. I just think this is an under written all over it to me. The way, especially watching the last 4 weeks, the average score for the Washington Commanders is 17-16, which would bring you to what, 33? So, and then you look at the other side, 30, 40. That rate dead nuts on the number last 4 weeks for the Philadelphia Eagles. But it is a divisional game, so I think this is kind of a rock fight type of situation where you could see Philly winning this double digits, for sure. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. They did play each other already. 24-8 was the score in week 3, so and that was an under. But if there's any take on this one, I'm probably going to be. Well, we'll talk. I mean, Monday I'll have the official play, but I'm leaning under as we stand right now on. Was it Thursday, November 10th, 2020?
Yes.
So
good.
But that's the card for week 10. So we gave you a bunch of leans, we gave you a bunch of takes, and we gave you some plays not only for College Saturday, NFL Sunday, and we also gave you our thoughts and official picks on Thursday Night Football, which just kicked off. So we're going to leave you at that. Thanks for joining us once again for DadBodd's episode 101. Till next time for episode number 102. We'll see you. Peace.